One quiet night in late 1995, a German physicist sealed off his flickering glass tube. But instead of darkness, he found a ghostly glow that slipped through flesh and revealed bone. Medicine would never be the same. The boundaries between hidden and known instantly shattered. What exactly did Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen see? And why did the world believe the impossible almost overnight? Across Europe in the 1890s, physicists gathered in dim laboratories, their attention fixed on glass tubes that glowed with an eerie, otherworldly light. These discharge tubes, partially evacuated of air and fitted with metal electrodes, became the centerpiece of scientific curiosity. When a high-voltage current raced through, the inside of the tube lit up with strange colors, while the outside world remained in shadow. Researchers like William Crookes in England, Johann Hittorf in Germany, and Philipp Lenard in Austria pushed these experiments further, each building on the last. Some noticed that certain chemicals, like barium platinocyanide, would glow faintly when placed near the tubes, even without direct contact. The effect was mysterious, hinting at invisible forces at play. The debates were fierce. Were these so-called cathode rays streams of particles, or waves of some unknown kind? No one could agree. The tubes themselves were temperamental, sometimes producing sharp, bright lines, other times a diffuse glow that faded as quickly as it appeared. Some scientists noted that photographic plates stored nearby became fogged, but the cause was unclear. Every lab tried new shapes, different vacuum levels, and exotic coatings on the glass, hoping to pin down the elusive nature of these rays. Despite all this activity, no one could explain the full range of effects. The glowing tubes became a symbol of the era's scientific ambition, a frontier that promised answers but delivered only more questions. Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen was not a man drawn to spectacle. Born in 1845, he spent decades building a reputation for precision and patience, eventually earning the physics chair at the University of Würzburg by 1888. His laboratory was a place of quiet discipline, where every experiment was logged in detail and every result was tested, then retested, before it was believed. Röntgen distrusted quick answers. Instead, he documented every step, filling notebooks with careful observations and sketches. If an anomaly appeared, he did not dismiss it. He circled back, repeated the setup, and probed from every angle until the pattern became clear, or the error revealed itself. This habit of relentless verification was rare in an era when many rushed to publish first and ask questions later. His approach extended beyond the bench. When colleagues urged him to patent his findings, Röntgen refused. He believed scientific discoveries belonged to everyone. This decision, shaped by his ethics as much as his method, would soon speed the spread of his work around the world. For Röntgen, the experiment was never about personal gain. It was about truth, about making sure that what he saw in the lab would stand up to any scrutiny. In the months ahead, these habits would become the tools that allowed him to recognize and then prove the existence of a phenomenon no one else had seen. On the evening of November 8, 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen worked alone in his darkened laboratory at the University of Würzburg. He had wrapped a Crookes discharge tube in thick black cardboard, determined to block out every trace of visible light. High voltage pulsed through the glass, and the tube glowed quietly from within. But what caught Röntgen's attention was not the tube itself. Across the room, nearly 2 meters away, a small screen coated with barium platinocyanide began to glow with a faint, ghostly green. The screen was well beyond the reach of any ordinary light or known cathode rays, both of which the cardboard should have stopped cold. Röntgen checked and rechecked, moving the screen farther, bringing it closer, turning the tube on and off. Each time the green shimmer returned, always in the same spot, always when the current flowed. He tried to find a crack in the shielding, a stray reflection. Any simple explanation? None appeared. Something invisible was traveling through the air and making the screen come alive. In that moment, Röntgen realized he was facing a phenomenon no textbook could explain. Röntgen began by testing the reach and nature of the invisible rays. He placed sheets of paper, blocks of wood, and then slabs of metal between the covered tube and the glowing barium platinocyanide screen. Soft materials like paper and thin wood did almost nothing to stop the effect. The screen continued to glow as if these barriers were not even there. When he tried denser substances, such as aluminum and then lead, the glow faded or vanished. This pattern revealed a hierarchy. The denser the material, the more completely it absorbed the mysterious rays. To record these effects, Röntgen swapped the fluorescent screen for photographic plates. When he exposed the plates, objects placed between the tube and the plate cast crisp, ghostly shadows. Bones, coins, and keys appeared as dark shapes, while flesh and softer items let the rays pass through, leaving lighter impressions. This shadow logic, where dense structures block more rays, proved the phenomenon could be measured, not just seen. Each experiment added weight to the idea that these rays could reveal the hidden structure of solid objects, all without a single incision. Late in December 1895, Röntgen prepared a photographic plate and asked his wife Bertha to place her hand between the discharge tube and the plate. She wore her wedding ring. For 15 minutes, the invisible rays passed through flesh and skin, but not through bone or metal. When the plate was developed, the result was unlike anything seen before. The bones of a living hand appeared, joints clear as if drawn in ink, and the dark circle of a ring floating around one pale finger. The image was both clinical and haunting. It showed the inside of a living person without a single cut. Proof that the new rays could reach places no scalpel or microscope ever had. Stories soon spread of Bertha's reaction, with later retellings claiming she whispered, "I have seen my death." Whether or not she said those exact words, the sentiment caught on. In one moment, a personal experiment became a cultural lightning bolt. Medicine now had a way to see the hidden world inside the body. Subscribe if you want more stories where history flips in weeks, not centuries, because the next episode will blow your mind the same way this first X-ray did. Röntgen wasted no time turning his discovery into a formal scientific record. On December 28, 1895, he submitted a paper titled "On a New Kind of Rays" to the Würzburg Physico-Medical Society. The manuscript included not only his results, but also photographic evidence, shadowy silhouettes of bones and metal, clear proof that these rays could reveal what was hidden from the naked eye. News of the breakthrough did not stay confined to academic circles for long. On January 5, 1896, the Viennese newspaper Die Presse published a story about the new rays, igniting public fascination. Within a year, more than 1,000 scientific papers and dozens of books poured out worldwide as laboratories rushed to replicate and expand on Röntgen's work. Within weeks of Röntgen's announcement, doctors and surgeons began testing the new rays on real patients. On February 3, 1896, at Dartmouth College in New Hampshire, Edwin Brant Frost and his brother used X-rays to image the fractured wrist of a 12-year-old boy. The result was immediate. For the first time, a physician could see the exact break inside living tissue, and set the bone with confidence. Across the Atlantic, military surgeons during the Italo-Abyssinian War rushed X-ray equipment to field hospitals. With wounded soldiers arriving from the front, doctors used the rays to locate bullets and shattered bones without exploratory surgery. What had started as a laboratory phenomenon quickly became a tool for saving lives, changing both civilian medicine and battlefield care almost overnight. Early users of X-rays paid a steep price for their curiosity. Clarence Daly, a skilled glassblower who worked alongside Thomas Edison, spent years testing X-ray tubes by exposing his hands to the rays. By 1900, repeated injuries forced doctors to amputate both arms, and the damage was irreversible. Daly died of cancer in 1904, a warning that these invisible rays could be as dangerous as they were useful. Outside the lab, the public's imagination ran wild. Advertisements promised X-ray-proof underwear, and shoe stores installed fluoroscopes so customers could peer at their own bones, often unaware of the risks. The wave nature of X-rays was finally confirmed in 1912, when Max von Laue's crystal diffraction experiments showed that these rays were a powerful new form of electromagnetic radiation, with wavelengths between 0.01 and 10 nanometers, able to reveal, but also to harm, the hidden world within. Every year, over 3.6 billion medical X-rays are taken worldwide, a direct legacy of one scientist choosing to share, not own, a discovery. In a world where hidden dangers and hidden cures still exist, the power to see what's inside remains as vital as ever. Thanks for watching.